What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumbass. Like and subscribe. So I was just perusing YouTube, just trying to find something to fill the space, the silence of the day. Just have somebody talky talk. Um, I ran into two things. The first thing I ran into, I know the last video I was talking about, Doc unicorns and ponies going all crazy about what's going on. But today I listened to um, it was Alex's reaction to Porter Rock, basically smacking down these ponies and donkey unicorns and saying all the things we've been saying. And I was like, okay, well, that's cool. So I mean, if y'all want, y'all go check out Porter Rock's. I guess this is the latest video. Um, and yeah, he says all the things that are basically true. So I'm gonna take Porter Rock. I probably said this before. I'm gonna take him, and I'm gonna take him out of the. He's definitely not a donkey unicorn. He is. I'm gonna take him out of the pony status for now. We'll see how he acts in the coming months and such. But I'm gonna say he's not a pony, only because he's slapping these fools basically. But the other thing I wanted to talk about was this new channel that it was new to me, obviously. They have like 600 videos. And the channel is called Epically Geeky. I think that's what it's called. EG. I don't know. If that's wrong, correct me. But if it's right, then I'm right. And it's just two dudes talking. You know, they got their super collections in the back and stuff. And I'm listening to them. And they know about things. I guess they read the news and they're just kind of, they regurgitate the news. It's like a lot of channels that just kind of go through the news and stuff without really giving. I mean, they do give some of their opinions and such, so it's cool. But they sounded like I like to listen to things that aren't within the bubble, if you will, within the echo chamber. Now, I appreciate Sean and I appreciate Dirt and all of them, but it's an echo chamber. And there's a problem with the echo chamber because, well, the problem is, I don't think it's a real problem, but the problem with it is that you don't get a good census or consensus, not consensus, but you don't get a good feeling about what the general audiences, the casuals are saying. And these two guys seem like they're casuals. Like one of them is like, oh, I really love the Xbox controller, but they're both PC guys. One of them is, I guess, more PlayStation. And he said part of his rhetoric was, the death throes of Xbox, and Xbox is, basically, it sounded like he was reading from the script of casual people who don't really know what's going on in the industry. And this is what has been said about Xbox, and this is the narrative that everyone knows. And that within itself is a problem for Microsoft. They need to figure out how to solve that. I would say the one way to solve it is to come out with a console that everybody buys and then it solves itself. Or you come out with a campaign, marketing campaign that just destroys PlayStation. I mean, they're so still. I mean, they are kumbaya, and I guess kumbaya works because now Sony is not the same Sony that they were. So now Sony is like, yeah, kumbaya, let's go, let's make this money together. Me and you, Xbox, we can make it, baby. And that's what's happening now. Xbox and PlayStation are sitting in a tree. I don't know what they're doing up in there, but they're sitting in a tree. At least they're doing that, right? And so, like the past, the way that the console wars were is no longer. It's not about console wars. It's about, do you make a good game? And a lot of people playing your game, buying your game. That's really it. What's the most played game? What's the game that sold the most? What's the game that more players are playing? That's all that matters. And then when you look at that, you look at PlayStation's list, top sellingest games on PlayStation in 2025. Who's playing these games? What games are all these players playing? Not PlayStation games, first party. That's telling. That's bad. That's bad business. The only way that Sony can survive the end of this generation going into the next generation is to rely on third party money, meaning all the regular third parties plus the extra special third party, which is Microsoft, coming in and filling in 60% of their money. It's like, here you go, here you go. Because imagine if they didn't have that Microsoft money from those 6 games. How much money is that actually? You know, 30% of however many millions that is. It's a lot of money. Microsoft is helping them out, and they're getting 70. So it's like it's almost it's weird because it's like Sony had a captive audience. They had, I'm gonna say, 60 million consoles out there in the wild, for real, where actual gamers are playing. I give them a little bit extra because actually the real number was 53 million last documented, I think, 2 years ago. So I'll give them 60. But anyway, they could not capitalize on all of those consoles out there. They couldn't make a compelling argument or compelling product for people to say, yo, I got to buy that. They couldn't make their own Mario Kart. They couldn't make their own Donkey Kong Bonanza. They couldn't do it. Even Astrobot, as great as it was, as a ripoff, as much of a ripoff as it was of Mario and such, still didn't work. Still. I'm like, you got all these consoles out there, all these players, they're not buying your games. Why? Because you don't make good games that casuals want to buy. You slap on Forza Horizon 5, it's an arcade racer, it's open world, it's the best open world arcade racer. Yes. Casuals are going to eat it up. Sea of Thieves, that's casual, open world. Both of those games are games of service, by the way. What else? There's a myriad of games that Xbox has that will make more money than PlayStation games, versus, if you will, because just by the nature of the type of game it is, either open world or games of service, and they make money. Well, not just open world, I'm just saying open world and games of service. You look at the games that PlayStation has, like some of them have sold pretty good. Most of them has sold pretty good on PC, not on play. If you just take away the PC numbers and you just look at PlayStation numbers, I have to do that. I have to look that up. I want to see what the numbers are, because just for example, Helldivers 2 said it sold 14.2 million total, and they said it sold 12 million on PC. That's not a good number. 2.2 million for a console that has at least 60 million consoles out in people's houses. Nah, son, that's sad. That's bad. That's a failing business right there. That's why Xbox is getting them games. That's why Helldivers is coming to Xbox. That's why Spider-Man is coming to Xbox. Y'all don't think it is? It is. It's coming so hard and so fast. Man, there's gonna be Xbox suits and stuff. Man, it's gonna be crazy. Y'all don't know. And I'm gonna buy it. First of all, I'm gonna buy Helldivers 2, because I was thinking about it. So I was like, man, should I buy it? I probably won't even play it. I'll check it out, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take one for the team, so to speak, and I'm going to buy it just so that I can help the snowball to roll faster down the hill, meaning Spider-Man comes to Xbox sooner. When they see the numbers and they be like, yeah, we got to put Spider-Man on there now. Make that money. While Herman's over there talking about will. You see, he messed up, right? If you watch that video, that whatever it was, fireside chat with no fireplace, maybe it was. I wasn't paying attention. When he said will, he was looking at the whatever guy, the guy, the host guy, right? And the teleprompter is like off camera. I mean, he's off camera. teleprompter's off camera and the camera's like here. So he said, and we are being very mindful of all the games that will, if and will, and if will and he said will first while he was looking, looked back at the teleprompter, said, oops, I messed up. I supposed to say if and will. Or if, I'm supposed to say if first. But he said will first. That's why he said will twice, means two wills negate the if. So they will come to Xbox. That's all I'm just saying. But yeah, he messed up. And that's hilarious. How you gonna mess up? It's literally words you're supposed to read, Herman. Come on, son. And I bet you the dudes that were there, they're like, oh, you had one job, Hermie. You had one job. You couldn't read. I know English isn't your first language, but damn. I hope Hiroki Totoki-san doesn't catch wind of this. Nishino-san was like, these are the people I have to work with. Sorry. But the those PlayStation games coming over, Spider-Man coming over, whatever. It's a good game. Is it the best game in the world? Hopefully it sells a lot, because I want the utter destruction of the ponies and donkey unicorns' hearts and souls to be complete. I want them to suffer. I want them to feel they're so. You know what? It's so dumb on their part, because they saw it happen to the Xbox, right? They saw it happen on Xbox. They saw everything that was happening, and they were sitting there giggling and laughing. Ha 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 ha! No more Xbox. Xbox is dead. Blah blah blah. They're saying all this bullshit, right? And now it's happening to them exactly the same way. Only difference is PlayStation ain't telling y'all. They're not being open. They're not being transparent. They're just like, bam. Oh, that was on Xbox. But wait. And all the ponies and donkey is like, what? What's that? Oh, why is there an Xbox logo on our game? Why? Turn to chicken heads, pony heads. And so yeah, Sony's not gonna say. Listen, there's been a history of Sony not saying shite. They think they slick. They be like, no, don't say nothing. If it's bad news, don't say nothing. It's bad. Not saying nothing is better than saying the bad news. No news is good news. And they're going to continue to do that. The only reason why they did that fireside chat is because, one, Xbox did it first, and PlayStation, they always have to copy. So they did the exact same thing. Had 3 people up there with a host, 2 guys, 1 girl, same. Only difference is the girl wasn't in the middle, whatever. But I'm like, y'all, really? Is this okay? I mean, look, I've said it millions of times, not millions, but a lot. It feels like a million. That PlayStation is creatively bankrupt. So they look at the industry, they see what works, and they copy it. That's their business model. That's their MO. That's their modus operandi. And I've seen it over the years. Somebody did a video, they were like, oh yeah, look at the Move. That's just like the Wii U. And Xbox had their fair share. They did Kinect, which I think is a different product. I think it's actually a better product than like the Move and all the motion control stuff. Because you can actually use it for more things. Like I still have my Kinect version 2 that came with the Xbox One, and you could download a utility on PC and use it as a motion tracker. And it actually works fairly well. You don't have fingers. That's I think one thing, but you have the head, shoulders, torso, hips, knees, and feet, and all the joints and the wrists and stuff. I was like, yo, I didn't even have to buy like a complicated, goofy, $1,000 motion capture suit. I just boom, put this on, and while it's rudimentary, if you're just starting out and you want to do some experiments and stuff, boom, it's cool. I already had one. All I had to do was buy a cable for it, the PC cable, and that was it. And I'm good to go. So I was like, oh, okay. And I tested it out a while ago. I was like, oh, it works. You saw my little stick figure on the thing. I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. All right. Like I said, I've yet to use it yet. And there's probably better things out there. I mean, there are better apps on iPhone, but I don't know if they have the same equivalent on Android. I got to check that. I haven't looked in a minute, but whatever. Still, a more useful thing than the Move, the ice cream cone dildo, whatever the hell. It was an ugly looking thing. Man, PlayStation has been making ugly consoles for a long time. The PlayStation 4 original was the best console they ever made, the best looking console. Then they made the Slim ugly. Then they made the ice cream sandwich PS4 Pro ugly. I'm like, why would you round off the edges? That is not attractive. Maybe keep it sharp. If they had kept it sharp, it'd been straight. But no, they got to make it round and goofy, and I'm like, yeah, that's not appealing at all. I'm looking at people selling like their Slims, their PS4 Slims on like Facebook Marketplace for like $60, right? I was like, oh, that's less than a game. And I'm looking at it, I was like, yeah, but it's the Slim, which is trash. It's trash only because I don't like the way it looks. And part of kind of collecting consoles is the aesthetic. I think that's why the Xbox 360, I've said this before, is still the best looking console that has ever been produced. Regular console. I think their whole line of 360s were good, but the original was really cool. But anyway, the white. But anyway, tangent aside. Yeah, this new channel, the EG, what did I say? Epically Geeky. It was a little. I'm not saying it wasn't tough to listen to, but they seemed like they knew what they're talking about, but they also seemed like they were a little bit more casual than us bots that are in the echo chamber, smacking down ponies and such. So, like I said, I like to listen to shows like that and podcasts or whatever like that, videos like that, so that I can gauge what the rhetoric is amongst the normies. And that's what it is. What the ponies and donkey unicorns are spitting out is what the rhetoric is. It's basically, oh, they're dead, and they're not competition anymore, and all the things that the like some of the people, some of the higher ups, and some of the like not CEOs, but some of the people in the industry are saying. And I'm like, it's not true though, but whatever. And it's like we know what the truth is, right? We know the reality of the situation. Sarabon, Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, Satya Nadella, they all said we making new consoles. We got some hardware coming out. We got all these games, 40 games in production. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, that sounds a lot like not being not being in the. You know what I'm saying? It's like that sounds like they're in it to win it. Basically, they have a console coming out before PlayStation, and they have more games in production than PlayStation. So if you want to just do the numbers and say, as far as like what they got going on coming up in the future, Xbox is more in the industry than PlayStation is. Because what PlayStation got? They got one game coming out this year. And I'm gonna tell you one thing. That's the last thing. Ghost of Yote, it'd be cool. It's not gonna be like, oh my gosh, there's so much. No, because they themselves, Sucker Punch themselves, literally said it's not about inventing the wheel. It's just about iteration. I was like, oh, that means that's just a sequel. That's what that means. And I was watching some video. Luke Stevens they showed some more gameplay or whatever. And homegirl was killing some people, some fools. And I was like, that looks like a PlayStation 4 Pro game, for real, for real. That does not look like it. And then when she get on a horse and she's like with the flowers and the mountains in the back, I was like, okay, that looked like PlayStation 5. And then when she get off a horse and she goes blah, 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 I'm like, okay, we back to PlayStation 4 now. It's like, it looks like the lighting changed. It looks like everything changed. I'm like, why does it look so hot trash garbage when you're not on a horse? But when you get on a horse, it's like, oh, okay. Oh, that looks cool. I don't know, man. That game, and he was like, yeah, it's just a revenge story. It's like, is that the only story y'all know over there at PlayStation? Revenge, 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 revenge. Last of Us, revenge. Last of Us, revenge. Goes revenge. What else is revenge? Is Ratchet and Clank revenge? I don't even know. Probably is. Astrobot's probably revenge. There's probably revenge through all them games. Because that's all they know. Revenge, revenge, revenge. Like I said, creatively bankrupt. And they're in a really bad situation right now because they don't have enough volume. They don't have enough content And it's content wartime right now. And Nintendo NES, they won that war against Sega Master System because they had the content. The fact that they were evil and forbade those devs from making Sega Master System versions, that's a whole nother thing. And that's what kept them having the content, and like all the content for the most part. But the fact is, they had the content, they won. They had the most games, they won. And so that's where I say that new Xbox that is going to have Steam, GOG, Epic Games plus Xbox games, they're going to have a library of potentially hundreds of thousands of games. They gonna win. They just have more. They have more games. Now PlayStation, but you can play PlayStation 4, 5, and 6 on the PlayStation 6. I'm like, yeah, so that means it's just a PlayStation 5, right? Because that's what PlayStation 5 does. So why would you? And are you still gonna make games for PlayStation 4, 5, and 6 for the PlayStation 6? Meaning PlayStation 6 games aren't actually taking advantage of the hardware. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Ramble Rumble. I appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe. Hit me up in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Go check out this EG, guys. And if you do come across like a normie station that's talking about video games, listen to them and let me know. Like, do you see the same thing where the normies are kind of falling into like the rhetoric instead of actually doing the research and seeing what's going on with these companies and where they are within the actual industry as far as profitability and all these things and health wise and potential growth? I don't know. It's interesting to see, but we'll see. Anyway, I talk to y'all next time. Just wait.